Hey there everyone, and welcome back to another Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 stream, and today we're taking the Cessna 208 B Grand Caravan EX from Zamboanga International to Francisco Bangoy International in the Philippines. This will be the very first time I'm using this plane ever. It's quite small. I've never been in it, never loaded up. Oh, there's the weather radar on the wing there, in that pod. I swear that that's not symmetrical, with the exhaust on one side and not on the other. See how sleek the plane would be if it didn't have the cargo container on the bottom. But yeah, I've never used this before, so I'm gonna need to have a little look around. Trays. I wonder if that's a special door. Of some kind, so I'm guessing most of this. Oh, okay, this is important. It's the electrical panel. Circuit breakers won't work, but these are Avionics Masters 1 and 2. I wonder what that's for. I'm guessing Avionics 2 will be for the co-pilot, perhaps. External power. I don't know why that's covered. More circuit breakers. Landing lights. It's a bit weird. Details, that's important. Inertial separator. I wonder how old this plane is. I don't think it's that old. But trim. Emergency power. Throttle. Drop RPM. It should be on cutoff. $150 knots. I'm guessing it's maximum speed with that. Altimeter. Hopefully that's electronic as well, some of that. So it's a G1000 NXI that we've got in here. Sorry, this is taking a while, guys. This is my very first time in the plane, so just trying to familiarize myself with some of these things. Emergency lights. As you can see, total hours 0. Doesn't look like there's anything else that I need. Fuel. Rotor trims. What's that? Use beta and reverse only with engine running and propeller out of feather. Whatever beta is. There. Okay, so when it's at like the low idles and stuff, reverse. All right. It's got a regular auto pilot panel up here, and then you've got the other stuff that you can do on here. Actually, no, this is a different one to what the Diamond has. The Diamond normally has a few of these things that are up here on this little panel. A bit odd that it doesn't, but oh well. Quite spacious back here. And one of the things I was curious about was if there was any landing gear. I know obviously the main wings can't go in, but I was wondering if maybe the nose gear would come up, but it doesn't. That propeller is really small as well. It doesn't grab much here by the looks of it. It's quite... the prop length isn't very large. So let's get into this. Oh, I forgot to check the overhead.
Both on.
I forgot to change the pilot voices again. Watch that. No. Lights, fans, can't do anything there. What is this? Standby flat motor. Okay, nothing.
Engine ignition selectors. Norm.
Power
lever. Idle. Prop RPM lever. Max RPM.
It looks like I'll just be going straight out frontways, which is nice if that guy gets out of my way.
Battery switch. On. Beacon. On. Avionics number 1 switch.
Where's that external power? I'm guessing this stays off. It would be nice to be able to run off external.
On. Fuel boost. On. Starter. On. Fuel condition lever. Low idle. Starter.
Would help. I remember I did that by accident, or not by accident. That should really be in the checklist. And what else did I do? I guess. I played with some of this stuff, didn't I? I suppose let's just do what it says and see what happens.
Off. Fuel boost. Norm. Avionics number 2 switch. On.
Right. I'm guessing high idle. It's one of these that I did, wasn't it? It's a low idle for now. Let's get sorted with this flight plan. Okay. That looks fine, safe. We have traffic on. Terrain topography. X-rad, whatever that is. But I'll just have that on anyway. Alright. Flight plan. We are at RPMZ. And we will be taking off on runway 9. Alright, and our destination's RPMD. And we're meant to be landing on runway 23. That's also the only runway we have in ILS. Alright. Now, our en route has us taking the departure Gosto 1E, and we're taking that to Gosto. So that's what we're going to put in, Gosto. Okay, and then from Point Gosto, we're taking the W10 airway. So we go load airway. We want the exit, the Lanao exit. It adds all the points in between, that's great. Just scroll through and we hit go to load and enter. And that's it. And then next is the arrival. So we want to now go procedures. Let's do our departure first. We want departure Gosto 1E. And check that's on runway 9, yes. Load. And procedure again. Load and approach. Oh, there's an ILS 05 as well, okay. We're on ILS 23. Actually, before I do that, on the arrival, let's do the arrival first. We're coming in from Lanao 2P. Lanao 2P. Alright, now we can load in the approach. That's 23. And where's my chart? We've got minimums of coming straight in, which is what we are doing. And it's correct, the frequency 1099. And we are coming in from Deo. That's the start of it, and we're coming in from up here somewhere, and then will be the minimums are so does it tell me what the height of the runway is? Transition level is 130, so 13,000 feet. And transition altitude is 11,000. The runway is it's about 100 feet for the threshold of runway 23. They've got a straight in of 355 or a lock of 405, which we're using the ILS, so that's lock. I don't really understand what the difference is. We're coming straight in anyway. We're not doing circling on lock, so I guess we'll just do 355. Do 360 because we can't do increments of 5. And load. Does the Cessna not have ILS? ILS capabilities. That's interesting, to be honest. It does. Lock. Alright. Vision's on, that's good. That's fine. Got speeds on. Rotate is 70 knots. 95 knots for a climb, even though we've got different that the flight plan gave. I think that's that all done. So it does have ILS, so it was just giving us a warning. Yes, now just put in high idle because we're getting ready. Director, yaw damper on. Okay, that's important. Nautical miles. Altitude's fine, Celsius is fine, but we want weights in kgs. We can't change the baro transition alerts. Right. Okay, we're going out 6,005. It wants us 6.5, but then when we're coming in, it wants us, some of those hard limits, and we want to be at 4,000 by the start of the ILS, which, if I check against what we have, and no, it wants us at 2,000 on the chart. Oh, hang on. At Deo point, there's two. There's the DME, the IDVO is at 2,000. Yeah, that's the intercept, 2,000. Okay, that's all right. So the Deo VOR. Okay, so that has us going down here, flying over the airport and turning back around, and as we start dropping, we're coming out over here, coming in, back in, and then catch the glide slope. Alright, that's odd, but no matter. So we want to go up to, apparently it says a cruise flight level 7,000 feet. That's really low. I might just go 12. Yeah. All right. Start getting in contact with tower now. I can't clearance for IFR. So there's no which way am I wanting to depart? Departing east.
Zamboanga Ground, Air New Zealand 0908, ready to taxi east departure.
I kind of wish I could change it to be. Oh, hang on.
Air New Zealand 0908, taxi to and hold short of runway 09er using taxiway cross runway 27. Contact tower on 123.5.
North up for the map.
Taxiing, hold short runway 09er using taxiway cross runway 27, Air New Zealand 0908.
It's nothing to do with having north up. I thought there was meant to be a setting for that. Alright. I don't like it when it's like that. When it's heading up, I prefer it being north up. That really should be in map options. Alright, well, I've been screwing around for enough time already. Let's zoom in a little bit. Everything's on. Oh. And most important thing, there's no warnings for annunciators. Where is it? Pitos. Yeah, that's super important. It's on. We've got lights. We've got landing, taxi lights, recognition on. Nav should have been on right away. Cabin lights on, important strobes can come on when we come onto the runway or the taxiway. Probably just the runway. Alright, that's pitos on, all that stuff is on. And inertial separator because we're going to be going along the ground. RPM's max, high idle. Inertial separator, normal, bypass. And is there a little warning? There's no like warning lights or anything. That's how old is this? Brakes off. And come on. She's very sluggish on the ground. For a small plane, she doesn't turn very sharp. Oops. That was very naughty of me. Okay, I was given clearance to cross. Okay. To be going really slow to turn sharpness. Brake on.
Zamboanga Tower, Air New Zealand, 0908 at runway 09, ready for departure, east departure.
Air New Zealand 0908, QNH 29 decimal.
That's what I was waiting for, 2985.
Departure to the east approved. Cleared for takeoff runway 09.
Okay, let's to back up.
Cleared for takeoff runway 09, Air New Zealand, 0908.
Don't have any temperature for outside. Okay. And I should make sure that controls are free. Oh. And apparently we want a climb rate of 115 knots. Man, she's a bit of a pig. She doesn't turn much at all. You have to be going so slow to turn. Alright, we're lined up. Final little checks. Flight directors is on, your damper is on, we want nav mode on. Of course we don't care, we want heading selected 90 degrees to be in line with us. It's like the true heading is about 95. Alright, and we want flight level change on, and we want to go 115. Right. As I rotate.
Zamboanga Tower, Air New Zealand 0908, continue for east departure.
Pilot on. Far out, this takes forever.
Air New Zealand 0908, leaving my airspace frequency change approved.
Zamboanga Tower, Air New Zealand 0908, frequency change. Zamboanga approach Air New Zealand 0908, this type Cessna Caravan 4 miles east of Zamboanga, 2,600 feet. Request flight following.
Air New Zealand 0908, Zamboanga approach. Squawk 2054.
Squawk 205 for Air New Zealand 0908.
Air New Zealand 0908, radar contact 6 miles east of Zamboanga, 3,200 feet. QNH 29.85.
Roger, Air New Zealand 0908.
I see. The taxi lights are the secondary lights on the other side, by the looks of it. Not too sure. Keep inertial separator on for now. And it's a pretty iconic sound. I hear these flying over my place all the time. Such whiny sounding things. Rain. Miles seems fine for that. Definitely looks like there's two bulbs on here. There's none on the wheels, so that's a bit odd. So if I turn on off those, yes. So that's where that is, or what that is. One thing I'm curious about though is that back on. Nav is the red. We've still got the strobes flashing, that's good. It's interesting because it says recognition lights and I'm a little bit confused as to what recognition lights are. I can always Google it, but anyway, we've got beacon and strobe and an nav on. Those are all important. So to me, recognition light is, I guess, the same as logo light. But why would you need logo on a plane like this? So I don't know.
.5 for Air New Zealand 0908. Wing 10 Center Air New Zealand 0908, 9,300 feet.
This has, it has heading up. I was thinking maybe north up, but
continue as planned.
I'm not sure which one is the primary. To me, it makes it sound like the boxed one is active. It makes sense, right? But I have a feeling that that's standby. Prop RPM. It's wanting us to go then. Okay, we're above 10,000, so landing lights can all go off. Barometer can go to to initial separator. Go back to normal because we're through the worst of the cloud layer. That should actually give us a bit more performance as well. Now, this should be ocean we're over. So not. There we go. There's a bug at 15. It's fine everywhere else. Trying to see what we want for our edit flight on my flight plan. Our cruise profile says MCR 1900. So maximum cruise rate. That to me prop RPM 1900 maybe, I don't know. Let's see if I chop it to 8.5, if that drops, yeah, it starts dropping. Now that's the gear, so it's So that's how you change things. So that's with the prop RPM at max. So maybe it's got something to do with the torque, but the torque definitely won't go that high. It could maybe go higher because our flight plan said it wanted us at 7,000 feet of all things. I'm going to quickly check our flight plan. Okay, cool. So it has us at 12,000 feet, that's what we've selected we want to be at. Then we want to start dropping down to 6.5, and the lowest we want when we intercept is 2,000. So that one being at 2,000 there, it's got the cross through it because it doesn't think we'll be able to make it in the parameters, in acceptable parameters that are safe for the aircraft to perform, I believe. So anyway, we want 2,000 set in and VNAV activated, and then that will just drop for us when it's ready. Cool. Oh, please tell me I can change that. That's north up above, very topo scale, track vectors. The altitude arc, I want that on. Alright. That's doing the same thing now, north up. So I do 10, and I don't need all the details for the map. Where's the detail? It will probably just have layout 1, well, layout, okay. Right. How do I swap to nav 2? Don't know why it's on default nav 2. Do we have a ground speed? 173 knots. I better check to see if we've been talked to. Okay, cool. And I guess it's time to put in the altitude selector. Surely there's a faster way. So annoying. It's so slow. We want our lowest altitude before we capture the ILS, and it will just do all the calculating for us through trigonometry, I'm assuming. Some simple calculations of the heights and then the speeds. And we have on, it's got V path. Ready to capture for us. See if I can pan our map. And there we go. There's our TOD, our top of descent, right there. The name of this ILS, just so I can keep an eye out. doesn't really say. I think it says IDVO, IDVO. Lock IDVO. So we'll know it's working because it will tell us in here, and probably in here, the name of it. So we'll figure that when we get to it. Actually, hang on. We can do that another way because we've got the comms in the same situation. At 124.85, and we are on at the moment 127.5. Okay, so that means the active is the one not in the box, which is a bit odd, to be honest. Everything looks fine. Kind of weird because our prop RPM is the same, but our speed isn't. That's kind of weird, so I'm not too sure on how the flight plan has like the maximum cruise rate. Fuel flow power 397, and that's in pounds. Now I'm sure I changed that. Kilograms. Yes, it is, but for some reason, maybe I need to swap pages, and so it can it doesn't change it. It's annoying. It's like you've got the option there, but it doesn't do anything. Kilograms is just much nicer to work with. Yeah, I was gonna push it to sync with my current heading, but if I do that, it will go into selected mode. So we just have to deal with that being in pounds, which is really annoying for me personally, because I don't use the metric, the imperial system. I use metric. Alright, let's sim rate a bit. Just hitting some turbulence here. Don't know if there's going to be ice crystals and stuff in here once the outside air temperature 6 degrees. Should be alright. I don't think she'll take in much foreign objects. Considering we're in the top layer of the cloud. What if we can drop the cargo container in an emergency if it can even be detached? That'd be kind of interesting. So there's our alternate airport, RPMR, I think it was. Got a crosswind, a decent crosswind. Did the autopilot just disconnect by accident? Hit the wrong button there. I wanted to zoom in on my pilots to see what they're wearing. Okay, so my default pilot, it's put my default as the instructor lady. And for me, and my co-pilot being whoever that is. So that's quite nice. You can see the stuff that's on the actual screens that I've got. So I need to remember to try and change that. But let's sim rate. Yeah, sim rate off to let it stabilize because it's gone all funny because of the turbulence. Autopilot's on, yaw damper's on. So altitude hold at 12,000 feet, and V path is armed and waiting to activate. And we have 2,000 targeted and a constraint. Oh. Change in air direction there. See our slight headwind. Been on normal. You guys might have just seen that, the arc sliding across for where it expects to hit the bottom of the descent at each point. BSD. North up above on 1000 nautical miles an hour. I don't know what that means. There's the selected altitude arc. Go down to so that shows that, and that's like the legend, which you can get it to show anyway, briefly though, but that's just so it's always on. I don't see any other aircraft around. Traffic's on. I don't know what next rate is. Well, let's pull in the range, just one. Let's see if we have any planes flying around. I don't see any. Still none. There's none flying around then, maybe, at the moment today. Some right. She's fluctuating a little bit. She's hanging in there. Should have a look at what our landing speed is for this, if it says accurately. So our takeoff was definitely not that. Our takeoff was like 70 something. So our landing will probably be, yeah, that sounds about right. 88 to 65, geez. I'll probably go for the higher of the numbers. I'm not sure what POH stands for. So rotate was 70, so and normally our landing would be lower, especially if we've got full flat. But we've got a long runway, so it doesn't really matter. We can just use flap 1, but I'll still use max flap and maybe just go to aim for 80. Yeah, aim for 80. I want to know what the true angle of the airport is at the runway. It looks like it is exactly 230. So that's handy. There's no ATIS at the tower. It's just an approaching tower, so that's a little bit annoying. Take sim rate off. We're gonna wait for the VNAV to start kicking in and doing its thing. So we're about to hit our top of descent. Looks like it's about to start right now. Almost there. Here's our vertical V-path tape coming in. So we're about to hit it. Here we go. Start pulling back on engine power. And there's our arc. Might bring it. Okay, good. It's working now after 15. So it's tracking our bottom of descent to be here. That's what it's wanting. But I think we're a bit high. I mean, a bit fast. So, what was our the QNH that we had? We had a QNH of 2984. Some of that stuff on. Probably don't need the taxi recognition lights on, but landing lights come on at least. Okay, so if we just continued all the way down to 2000, that's where it reckons we would be at when we hit 2000. But it's targeting 6.5, and it should hit that at the BOD, bottom of descent, around here, and then we're going to be staying at that for a little bit. And then it's going to have us at 4,000 by Galari, and then Deo at 4,000, and then we start dropping down and we swing around to our initial approach fix, or our intercept point, a final approach fix. Our intercept point, and that's where we go into approach mode, locator, and approach. Quite nice scenery and terrain around here in the Philippines. So the prop RPM stays the same, but the torque changes with the engine power. So I'm assuming that torque is the prop pitch. So then it's making essentially the force it's putting on the air is more extreme the higher power you put out. Oh, there we go, there's the map gone again. Now I can't remember if it did that when I was on heading mode.
Air New Zealand 0908, contact Davo approach on 122.4. Good day.
I prefer north, so
122.4 for Air New Zealand 0908. Davo approach Air New Zealand 0908, 6,800 feet.
Air New Zealand 0908 Davo approach QNH 29.83, continue as planned.
V, so it's holding now. That's set for 10, so I should probably drop that, I guess, to 5. And now we're flying level. I'll bump the car up a bit. As we've gotten lower, the torque bar's gone up to allow us to put out more power. So I'm guessing that's what it wanted, and why I said flight level 8,000 and then have the torque at 1,900. So that seems to dictate your airspeed. So our new top of descent's coming up. There's no spoilers, speed brakes. That landing gear does a pretty good job of that on its own. Airport. So we've got, we're going a lot faster as well because we're in thicker gear. And the propellers on this plane aren't exactly, well, you guys saw them at the when we're on the ground. They're not exactly very, nice looking. They're pretty basic. Well, we're really motoring here. Targeting 5.5, which you're about to hit. Dropped. It's 90%, the magic 1.9. Looks like 87% lever is the way to go. And what's our outside air temperature? 18 degrees, that's fine. We don't need any de-ice. Not inertial separator, at least, to go on. We don't need that. We'll put that on final before we come into land. And I forgot to do that.
Parking brake. Set. Strobe. On. Parking brake. Release.
Alright. I need to nearest airport. Tune into the ATIS.
Airport information Oscar
298.
06000. Wind
Landing
178 at
23
11.
cool.
Davo Tower Air New Zealand 0908 is 13 miles north, 5,400 feet with Oscar to land.
Air New Zealand 0908 Davo Tower. QNH 29.82171 and 10. Fly left base runway 23.
Enter left base runway 23 Air New Zealand 0908.
Airport information.
So what's the temp? 32 degrees. Oof.
Wind
Can't calibrate more than 30. Alright. It's alright then. It's at 298, but they told me 2982. So I'm going to keep it as the ground. Yeah, here we go. Look, let's bring up the name IDVO. Yeah, 109.9. I'll change it. It doesn't know. It doesn't come up with anything. So if I swap back. Now bring up information, IDVO. Doesn't show here though, but that's fine. We don't need that just yet. Probably bring this in. Next top of descent's here, which is going to bring us down to 2000 once we pass here, because this is a hard 4000. So I may as well set our heading to exactly the 230 we have for the runway. And we should be alright in this cloud. There shouldn't be any ice particles. Not that I have failures on anyway, but yeah. Anything else that we need? Pito's on, that boy's on. Beacon strobe navs, they're always on, especially the beacon and nav strobes come off when we get off the runway. Let's drop the power down a bit so we can turn a bit harder. It's not going to do any more than banking. Let's see, can we half bank off? Okay. I want it to do full banking. which is I think 30 degrees, so we'll do for full bank. And it's targeting 2,000 now. Information that we need to give. There's runway right there. This looks like a rich person's place. Whatever that is. We're at 2,000. I'll probably start dropping the speed back a bit. I'll go to 50. And I'll get our approach mode. Armed, if it will arm. Weird. A little bit worried here. That was a bit weird, so I needed to change it to lock. I changed the nav. Nav needed to be on and it auto turned off. is intercepting the localizer, which we've done. And we've got the glide slope ready. That's probably why I didn't like it, because I didn't have the intercept. I hadn't intercepted it properly yet, so it wasn't ready for it. Alright.
Airport information.
Okay, so the same 298. Glide slope coming down. And let's start getting flaps out.
New Zealand 0908, wind 191 at 12. Cleared to land runway 23.
Cleared to land runway 23, Air New Zealand 0908.
I don't like that. We're well below the glide slope. I've got max power on and it's not accelerating. Pilot off. My dirt can come off. Not as smooth as I would have liked.
Air New Zealand 0908, exit runway when able. Air New Zealand 0908, contact ground on 118.1.
118.1 for Air New Zealand 0908. Davo Ground Air New Zealand 0908, request taxi to parking.
Air New Zealand 0908, taxi to general aviation parking using taxiway.
Taxiing to general aviation parking using taxiway Air New Zealand 0908.
So I guess it was a landing we survived. It was quite a decent crosswind. Doesn't have the strongest of brakes, jeez. Okay, if we can take that straight away down to low idle. Fuel damper can come off. Oh, that's fine. Nav beacon is on, that's fine. Where's the generators? Those avionics. Oh, engine ignition, power, prop. Where's that fuel boost? Actually didn't remember that there was a thrust reverser. Off. The motor is fuel pump, alternator, and battery. As you can see, that propeller's pretty ugly. And basic, but yeah, so that's going to conclude our flight today, everyone. So thanks for joining in. I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you did, you know what to do, hit that follow button so you get notified when I go live next, or whatever I go live next with. I'll also be exporting this to my YouTube channel, so if you're interested in checking that out, please follow the link underneath the live stream panel as well as in the description. I upload all my clips and stuff to there, so that's one of the good things about that, because I can't do that to Twitch. So yeah, if you guys happen to mosey on over there and like what you see, then why not help me out and subscribe? It'd mean a hell of a lot to me, and I very much appreciate it. if you're on my YouTube channel and one from my Twitch, follow the link in the description as well as the channel banner. Drop a comment on stuff you guys would like to see me do next, or things you think I could do better, or just to pop in and say hey. And please do leave me some recommendations on flights you'd like to see, whether it be from your own home airport or to your own home airport from wherever. So give me like a departure and an arrival airport and maybe an aircraft to use. Just nothing too extreme, please, in terms of length, time that it would take, because I don't really want to be sitting around for hours upon hours. But yeah, peace out, everyone. Have a great rest of your day or night, wherever in the world you are.